Check, check. There we go. We got audio now. Should have been just music with no voice before. And should have it fixed now. Cool, cool. Everything seems to be working. All right. Reminds me of my days in radio. Long, long time ago in another life. Where live broadcasts were always... They were a good learning ground. Someone said video's out of focus. That's weird. All right, let's take a look at that. Yeah, on my end, it doesn't look, on the preview over here, it doesn't look bad. It looks tight. Wonder what's up with that. I think my head's a little shiny today. Let's see. There we go. That might have tightened it up. Just made a change. It might tighten it up for you there. All right. All right. So now, kind of ironic. Have some technical hurdles and things like that on a morning with the subject that I have on tap. So, see in the chat, we have D3D, Disciple 3D, Sean O'Neill right now, and a new name showing up there, Heinzie Cruz. Hello, Heinzie. As Sean read the title and said so Nietzsche? Sort of, I guess. So today is just going to be kind of a conversation with you guys, and a few of my thoughts on some things. So let's just get into it. All right. So, as some of you folks who kind of are tight with me know, and you know, friends, especially close friends, but a lot of you guys who are tight with me on here, you know the past week was just, insane. There was some crazy stuff, and really the past like 2 weeks, there have been between pets and people, there was like multiple deaths that hit all at once. And that camera is driving me nuts. I can't stand autofocus. I'm too mobile for that. So the situation in the last few weeks, really going back about 2 months, but definitely the last 2 weeks, it's very strange in a way. About 2 months ago, my fiance, she had this dog that she absolutely loved. This dog lived to be 17 years old. That is old. That's an old dog. And for a number of reasons, little Pooch had to leave us about a year ago to go live with her sister, who has a big, much larger house, and who actually takes care of dogs. So she has a lot of dogs there. And so this little dog who we loved had to leave to kind of go convalesce. And it was kind of like doggy hospice. And that little dog finally died. And the death itself was bad enough. And then there was like some information about that death that got dropped on us during a family situation that was just, that really made it hard on Janice. Like, it really rattled her cage. Apparently other dogs there kind of ganged up on this dog, and at 17 years old, the dog was blind at this point. She was blind, but she still got around and was, doing her thing. And these other dogs kind of ganged up on her. And apparently, from what Janice's mom said, these little dogs, they ousted poor Lucy from this world. And that's a very cursory way to put it. So finding that out, God, it is hot in here. Finding that out really shook her up, and I can understand that. So fast forward, there's some other family related things that came up that were really, really jarring for her. And if it's jarring for her, it makes it jarring for me. Then into the mix of that comes a death in my family. Then hot on the heels of that comes the death of one of my dogs, my oldest dog, who'd been with me for 12 years, Toki. And Toki died in my arms, and that was rough, and I'm still kind of weird about it. But where this all has me right now, you guys probably recognize I took some days off last week. Kind of had to just to deal with stuff and sort of try to sort things out. And I'm playing catch up on a few things right now, which should all come to a head today, which is good. But where I'm going with all this is I was listening to as I got my morning started today, I was listening to one of the bazillion different psychology streams, podcasts, whatever that I listen to. And it was talking about, I think it was talking about a guy named Colin Wilson and some of his ideas, which really rang true to me. And that's sort of where I wanted to go. And that's that so many people want, or say they want, happiness. They want happiness. And they seem to want to characterize that as a pain-free life. And they seem to want to characterize that as a struggle-free life. Well, I disagree. I disagree with that. If happiness is your goal, but your definition of happiness involves being pain-free or struggle-free, then I disagree with it as a goal. If your definition of happiness can and maybe even relies on pain and struggle to some degree, then okay, I can buy the happiness thing. But the point of where I'm going is that, and this is kind of pulling from what I was listening to this morning. We live in a world now where, especially if you're in the United States of America, okay, if you're in the USA, even those who have it the worst among us here have it better than most of the world and better than most of humanity has ever had it throughout history. We have a propensity to sit back and look at things and not realize the fact we even have the time in the day to think about our leisure, to consider what would make us happy, is rare. It's incredibly rare. It's stupidly, wildly, insanely rare. Yet somehow, all of humanity before us managed to get here, managed to get through their pain and struggle, their suffering, to get here. So, in the short span of time that we have had access to the levels of comfort and leisure that we have we really changed? Have we adapted to that kind of life? I would say no. I would say we haven't adapted to it at all. So, what's the effect of that going to be? Well, what's that going to do? If the goal is comfort, a lack of pain, and this sort of corporeal, temporal happiness, well, I feel like you're allowing you're allowing fears and anxieties and all these things to stop you from taking on challenges. Or at least you're allowing them to make you bitter about even having challenges. But the thing is, your mind is like a muscle. You have to use it. If you don't use it, it atrophies. It grows weak. And along with that are your emotions. Your mind, your emotions, your body, all of them. If you don't use them, they're going to get weak. That's why I do these morning streams that reflect my morning practice time. Why do I practice? You know, I've been asked, why do you practice so much? You do this for a living. You do this all the time. You're always doing this stuff. Why do you practice? Because I have to challenge myself. Much of what I do in the course of work from day to day, honestly, is not that challenging anymore. Because I have worked and worked and worked for so many years to get good at it that now it's easy for me. Well, easy is the enemy. Easy is complacency. Easy leads to stagnation. Stagnation is not progress. Stagnation is not growth. I fully feel that in my work. I see so many people out there in social media land who, will post things and share things and they'll get, all kinds of little pats on the head from lots of people, and they get, their moment of glory from that, their little dopamine hit. But then let somebody offer them a piece of criticism. And I'm not even talking constructive criticism here. I mean, just, constructive criticism will bowl some people over, but a lot of criticism online is junk. A lot of it is people just being jerks. But let somebody offer any form of criticism into that sort of thing, and watch how many people just clam up. Watch them cave, crumble. They can't take it because their mind is softened into this thing that's just looking for that pat on the head, that, yay, you're doing so good, you're doing all this. And that doesn't help you. I appreciate compliments. They feel good. I appreciate accolades. They feel good. All those sorts of things feel good. But man, it's hot in here. Those kind of things don't grow you. They don't push you forward. You need something that challenges you. Now, I can talk about that in a course of work pretty much all day long because so much of my life is about work. But there is more to life than just that. I mean, there's just the act of living, of getting along with people, of having relationships and all that. But I take the same frame of mind into every part of my life. So, in my relationships, if things are going to be hard, if there's going to be something hard, I try. I don't always succeed, but I will try to confront the issue, deal with the issue, even if it hurts. If I'm wrong, I will apologize. And if I'm not wrong, I'm going to try to have some grace about it. I fail miserably at that. I know my own shortcomings, but I try. Um, and when things come that just knock the wind out of you, you have to remember that you can see it as something that can take you out, take you down, knock you low, or you can choose to grow from it. You can choose to learn from it, to get back up on your feet and keep moving forward. And if you make that choice, you will be stronger for it, without fail, every single time. Now, the thing I was listening to this morning was talking about the value of a hard life and work. Talking about how only recently have people had these lives where we didn't need to constantly be looking for food, shelter, constantly watching our back for, things that wanted to eat us. And I think that we have that wiring still, though. We have the wiring to live that life, to be able to push and work. And in fact, I think we all need to. I think perhaps just like any kind of talent or any kind of innate abilities or innate, things that you may just have, we're all unique in a sense. So we all have different things that we tend towards or whatever, talents, skills, whatever, that will lean into and that, help make us unique people. But I think we all need to look at those things, look at the things we enjoy, the things we love, look at what can be built out of those things, figure out how those things play into that natural state of hunting and gathering and defending, how those things can be used to further that stuff, and then treat those as the activities of that sort of natural state. So for me, sitting down to do art every day is hunting. I'm hunting for food. My primal brain says, go get meat. That's what it is. Go get meat. Defend the homestead. Go get meat. Provide for the mate. Go get meat. So even though I'm drawing and sculpting, doing business, doing all those things, my conscious brain is telling that little primal brain back there, this is what we're doing. The conscious brain sort of acts as a leader to that primal numbnut who needs to go out in the forest and hunt. My conscious brain convinces that primal brain that this is what we're doing. We're fulfilling that purpose. So then the natural tendencies, the natural feelings, that part, that's kind of subconscious part of my brain, I start to feel a sense of harmony, because the natural tendencies and the forward thinking are coming together and pointing me in a direction. It gives me a ton of energy. I know I annoy my friends in person a lot because I bounce. I'm just constantly like ready to go, ready to go, ready to go. Past couple weeks, there's just been a series of punches to the gut that really threatened to take me down to a level that I haven't been down in a couple of years. But over the last day or two, I've been reminded. It's one of the reasons I think it's good to take in content. Things like I'm a huge fan of Jordan Peterson, Richard Gannon. some of these guys. There's a few others, and it's nice to have that kind of content, those things that you take in that help. It's like it gives you this external source that's saying, hey, remember this. Martial arts play a role in that for me. We have in the martial arts that I do, we have a thing called the Dojo Kun. It's five rules of the dojo, and they help inform me. They give me an external source that helps direct my mind back on the right track. Religion can do that for people. I have my particular faith, and the precepts of that faith help keep me steered in the right direction. Helps me keep in mind the real nature of reality. That pain is the normal state of things. Suffering is the normal state of things. The luxuries of modern life are absolutely just that, luxuries. They are not normal, not by a damn sight. And if we don't consciously take on, if we're living in existence that doesn't have that kind of daily sort of pain that humanity faced for the vast majority of our existence, then I think we need to introduce challenges to ourselves. I say pain, it's not necessarily physical pain, although sometimes when I work out, it hurts, but that's okay. That's good. We need to introduce challenges. We need struggles, and we need to consciously, actively take those on and overcome them. And when you consciously take on struggles on a regular basis, whether the struggle is learning a new skill, finding a new client, finding a new partner, finding whatever it is that's going to satisfy something that you have a need for. Whenever you succeed at a challenge, there's a little part of your brain that's going to say, I did that. You're going to feel more capable. You're going to feel stronger. Sometimes you may feel a sense of relief more than the sense of strength. And I would say, honestly, push relief aside. Relief is comfort amplified. Relief is just comfort amplified. Push it aside and lean into the thought that you found the strength to do X, Y, or Z. When you don't want to practice, you have to dig deep and find the strength to say, you know what, even though this sucks today and I'd rather sleep, or I'd rather watch a movie, or I'd rather play a game, or I'd rather go, I don't know, eat pies and pastries all day. No, you have to choose the hard thing. Choose the challenge. Then go face the challenge. Bust your ass. Work through it. And get on the other side of that thing. And then be able to look back at what you just did and say, I'm stronger for that. You have to allow strength and accomplishment to become their own rewards. And when you do, you will start to become stronger and accomplish more. It seems to me like absolute, just stupidly common sense to say these things. It really does. But it shocks the hell out of me how little of this there is spoken in people's lives anymore. So the point of the theme for today, why this is a Headspace video, not a morning sketch video, is I've had a number of things thrown in my path recently that cause momentary hiccups, cause me to trip up a little bit, cause me to have a moment or two of self-doubt, a moment or two here and there of sorrow, some moments of grief. Some moments of all those things kind of swirling together into this toxic cocktail of BS that can drive you into depression. I'm someone who deals with a lot of depression, deals with clinical depression, and this cocktail of emotions that can come up in the course of a series of hard events, they'll definitely drag that depression demon out of the closet and shove that bastard right in your face. And it will make you want to cower. It will make you want to fall to your knees and just be done. Just done. Look, why bother anymore? You have to accept the challenge. You have to steel yourself. You have to straighten your spine. You have to stand up straight. You have to step forward instead of back. Don't cower. Don't be lazy. Don't allow yourself to be weak. And if you slip up and you have a moment of weakness, you have to find the strength to forgive yourself so that you can then move back forward into a place of strength again, so that you can honestly fix whatever you screwed up. Because when you have moments of weakness, you're going to screw things up. That's just a given. You have to have the strength to forgive yourself so that you can then find that strength again to step forward into whatever the challenge was, fix whatever you screwed up, address whatever the challenge was that knocked you down to begin with, and then move on. To borrow from Sean in the chat, who said saw the theme for the day and said, "Oh, Nietzsche." There's that phrase, that which doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. I want to add an addendum to that. That which doesn't kill me only makes me stronger if I choose that. That's important. Because something can hit, and it might not kill you, but it could sure make you feel like it has. It might even make you wish it had. And that's scary. That's dark. That leads into a place of deep, deep nihilism. And oddly, I think a lot of people are there. I think more people are there in this day and age than maybe have ever been there collectively before. People, there's so much feel-goodedness bandied about in our media throughout society that we don't seem to accept challenges. So then when inevitable challenges come up, we haven't practiced. We haven't exercised the challenge muscle in our brain enough for it to be strong enough to flex when we need it to flex. So that's an ongoing theme in my life, my day-to-day work, my head, my headspace while I'm working. I consider this stuff a lot. And I thought, this morning, coming out of this dark spell, this series of this variety of little calamities that happened in my path, I thought I'd share that. I'm not sure how many folks listen. That's fine. Whoever stumbles across it, hopefully there's something in this that that is good for you to hear. Hopefully there's something in this that you can find that maybe reminds you are strong. If you're breathing, you're strong enough to not be dead. So that's stronger than your weakest point possible. That means you have something in you. You have a little bit in you. So you can dig into that and maybe exercise that enough to have a little bit more, and grow. If you're not dead, you need to be growing. If you're not growing, then you're kind of dead. Don't be dead. Don't be stagnant. Don't stop. You have to keep the muscles flexing, keep practicing, keep getting challenged, and accept life's challenges when they come to you. Accept those hard moments. Embrace them. Don't run away from them. Lean into them. Lean into them. They'll make you stronger. They'll make you much stronger. So, my thoughts for this morning. I'm gonna pop over to the chat for a minute. Thank you guys for hanging out and listening. Today's not going to go on super long. I just wanted to kind of let my mind kind of wander through my mouth for a few minutes and just talk to you guys about what's been on my mind with that sort of thing, and how my own take on things plays into my own coping with one thing or another, and figure maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody picks something up out of it. So let's pop over to the chat and see who's here and see what we got going on. Let's see. Sean says, I've been thinking on Nietzsche and Dostoevsky all weekend, and then Les does this. Perfect. Yeah, Dostoevsky's solid. And also Solzhenitsyn. It blows my mind. I'm like, every school child needs to read Dostoevsky and Solzhenitsyn. And, if possible, read it in the original Russian. Oh, Kierkegaard. Sean says Kierkegaard. Yeah, Kierkegaard's great. Some interesting stuff. I'm a big fan of I'm very much a Jungian at heart. I love Carl Jung. Loved Carl Jung's work for a long time. It's very interesting stuff. And the interesting thing to me about a lot of that space where psychology and philosophy overlap with each other, they almost have to, is that a lot of times the stuff is like art. It could be kind of subjective to the person. So it's not necessarily true, but it may be right. It may not be broadly true or factual. That's a better way to say it. It may not be factual, but it still rings true. Kind of like how fiction, when you read something that is fiction, well, it's fiction. I mean, effectively, it's telling you untruths. It's telling you things that did not happen. So it's factually false. Okay, fiction by nature, by definition, is factually false. But we love it because it rings true. If it's good, it rings true. A piece of fiction that does not carry with it a sense of truthiness. Yeah, borrow from that Colbert guy. Can't stand him. But I do like that word he coined of truthiness. If a piece of fiction doesn't seem to carry a sense of truth with it, then it's weak. It just falls apart. Even though, but if it has that, we know that it's not factual, but it can be very true. So. Oh, Sean mentioned Kipling. Oh man. What is that one that ends with the phrase "Go forth and be a man, my son"? If. It's a poem from Kipling called "If." Oh my God. I'm actually gonna pull that up because let's see. Rudyard Kipling. Let's see if I can find that. Okay. I've heard this read by Jocko Willink, and I love Jocko. That guy is an inspiration. But yeah, here this is. This is If by Rudyard. If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for that doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. I love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. Oh my God. Yeah. Love that piece from Kipling. So, Sean's saying Carl Jung and Alfred Adler. Heinze, ditto on the Jung. Yeah, man. Sean's another good one is How Did You Die by Edward Vance Cook. I'll have to look that one up. I'm not familiar with that one. Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Now, the Henley name I'm familiar with, but I also haven't read him, so it's another one I'll have to look up. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm really appreciating the interaction here. Like, these are all things I will look up because I love that kind of stuff. You know, Gina, who's been to my house, Brent, Disciple 3D, who's been to my house, you know, they know that I've got a ton of books here. I read a lot. It's one of the things I want to carve out more time for is to do more reading and studying in that stuff because I love that stuff. Actually, when I went to college, I was planning on being an English teacher, so go figure. But, yeah, so, well, I'm kind of starting to wander a little bit, but that's fine. Yeah, that's what the chat's for, and talking to you guys and interacting. This isn't one of those days where I really think there's a whole lot of questions to be had, unless anybody just, you know, wants to toss something out. I don't know, wants to just talk about stuff. But yeah, I feel like, you know, that kind of wraps this for me because I just wanted to kind of think out loud for a little bit and share that stuff with you, and you know, and tell you, you know, you guys hang in there, hang in there. You know, folks who've known me personally, like Gina has known me for a very long time. Brent's known me for a very long time. You know, as you get to know me, you'll probably find out, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I've had my share of BS to deal with in life, to say the least. And I think that it has really, you know, if struggles are, you know, the resistance that your spirit has to take on in order to grow its muscle, then, you know, that's why I kind of keep going as hard as I do, because I've just faced a lot of stuff in my life. And so, that just forced me to get stronger, get tougher, get stronger, get tougher, keep moving on. And I would encourage you guys to lean into that idea hard. Lean into that. I don't think of myself as all that damn special. I really don't. I feel like if I can do it, anybody can. Some people like to argue that point with me, but when they argue that point with me, I'm like, are you really, you really think that? Or is that just an easy way to give somebody an out? I think there's a lot of arguments people toss out for things, and I'm like, is that really true? Or is that just a nice, easy way out? A lot of times people don't want to take responsibility for their lives, for their actions, for their thoughts, for their feelings. They don't want to take responsibility, but the little circle around you in life, that space around you, that's yours. Everything in that space is your responsibility. Space inside here, space out here that is your body, the immediate space around you, and then everything that touches is all your responsibility, whether you like it or not. And if you don't choose to be responsible for it, somebody else will. Somebody else will take that. Something's going to happen. Either somebody else will be responsible for it and you will be at their whim, or it'll just break down because nobody's taking care of it at all. Those are your options. Someone else is in charge, complete and utter entropy, or you call the shots and accept responsibility for whether you fly or fall. I personally do not accept the idea of anyone taking care of me or any of that external crap, anyone taking those responsibilities from me, because I will not be beholden to them. And I certainly don't accept the alternative to that or taking things myself. I don't accept the entropy, with the caveat, eventually it does get you. Eventually it gets you. You're going to die. One day you're going to die. That's how it is. But you don't have to go out quietly. You don't have to get there unprepared. You can bust your butt the whole time. And as one of the things I like that Jordan Peterson says is maybe try to build your life in such a way so that you're the most useful person at your father's funeral. Think about that, because if you go into, someone close to you dies, you could crumble. You can crumble, and you can cry, and you can wail, and you could collapse, and you could be completely useless and only add to the problem. Only add to the misery of everyone else around you. Or you could step up and go, okay, this has happened. What needs to be taken care of? What arrangements need to be made? How can I help? How can I help everybody get through this? Going back to the recent thing with my little pal Toki dying. He died at about 1:30 in the morning in my arms. Janice and I were a wreck. After a few moments of comforting each other as much as we could, I said, okay, it's time to do this. So I went and got the shovel, got my axe, dug a 2 foot wide by 4 foot long by 3.5 foot deep hole. It took me all night to dig that hole. About 4 or 5 hours of digging. But there it was. I could have stayed in the living room, went to bed, went to the couch, and cried and cried and cried. But when I put that shovel in the ground, I was facing that death. I was facing that moment of that little friend of 12 years. This is the thing you do for a friend. Ask yourself sometimes, are you the friend who would dig your friend's grave? Would you do that for them? As hard as that is. I've helped lower multiple actual human friends into the ground before. Been a pallbearer for a friend who was shot and killed. Been involved in lots of crazy, crazy stuff. Ask yourself, do you have it in you to be the friend who could dig the grave for your friend? If the answer is no, and be honest with yourself, then that's okay. Just know you need to work on it. You need to accept more challenges. You need to stiffen yourself, stand up straight, work on those things. Very literally, the act of just digging a grave is, I think, one of the most important and profound things a human being can do for another person, or even for a pet. Even for a pet, for a little animal friend, digging a grave. There's so much acceptance that comes from it, and so much coping. So, it's important, it's important. Like Peterson says, be the person who is the most help at your father's funeral, and that sort of thing. Brent, Disciple 3D, says this is a lot like an old-time sermon from when I was a kid. Death hits us all so hard. Amen to that. Amen to that. I've as I get older, I look more to a lot of that kind of stuff. I've leaned into my own faith pretty hard through the last few years, and it's helped me a lot, and I've found a lot of wisdom there that helps. Well, you guys, it is almost 10 o'clock, and I'm going to wrap this up. I know it may have seemed, it's funny, Creative Cloud is like, it's time to go. Adobe Creative Cloud, give a little notification. So I know this has probably seemed kind of a darker, I don't know. I don't want it to seem like necessarily a dark thing. I mean, it's dealing with death and dealing with hardship and dealing with challenges. But the bright side is you can be stronger. And you accept these things, and you get stronger. You'll develop that strength, and the more you accept and overcome, the more you can accept and overcome. And whether that's, deaths, whether that's sickness, whether that's the challenges of just learning a new skill or a new art or building a business or any of those things, all of it is the same. It's all the damn same. Challenge, overcome, get stronger, rinse, repeat. There you go. That which doesn't kill me makes me stronger. In parentheses, if I choose. So, I'm going to leave you guys on that thought and get on with my day, because I got a few hurdles to get over myself today. So, thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys dig this sort of thing. Actually, I write a lot of this kind of stuff down. God only knows what I'll ever do with it, but I really kind of dig sharing it like this. And if it's something you guys can appreciate, and I don't know, you can talk about it, message me about it, catch me on Discord. So, and for folks who weren't in the live stream, remember, as always, if you stumble upon this video, because I have no idea how YouTube works with letting people know about stuff or whatever. I'm just like, whatevs. But if you stumbled on this video and it's something that you find interesting or helpful or whatever, just remember, like, share, subscribe, ring the little bell. And as always, go to Sixus1.com. Also, if anyone's watching this, I do have an alpha version of my new collectibles store up at Sixus1Collectibles.com. And I need a couple of folks to help kind of test some things out on that. So, if anyone wants to help out a little bit with that, hit me up. We'll see if we can't find some way to make it worth your while. So, anyway, till tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be back in the full swing of things with more art in the morning. So, till then, you guys take care of yourselves. Be strong. I'm out.